I'm Mark Diamond, and I'm hosting this meeting from Jerusalem in Israel. We're going to start off with some people singing happy birthday. Then after that, Ken's going to explain a couple more things and introduce his dad, who everybody, of course, knows. And then Elliot will tell a couple of stories, and then we'll wind up the Zoom with goodbye from Ken.
יום הולדת שמח, יום הולדת שמח, יום הולדת שמח, יום הולדת שמח לאליאל.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Papa. Happy birthday to you.
Yom Hanleva, Yom Hanleva, Yom Hanleva uti 100 år. Jag viskar han leva, jag viskar han leva, jag viskar han leva uti 100 år. Long may he live, long may he live, long may he live to 120. Long may he live, long may he live, long may he live to 120. And once he has lived, and once he has lived, and once he has lived to 120, then we will shoot him, then we will shoot him, then we will shoot him and email long. And when we have shot him, and when we have shot him, and when we have shot him and email long, then we will hang him, then we will hang him, then we will hang him on the walls of our hearts. And once we have hung him, and once we have hung him, and once we have hung him on the walls of our hearts, then we will drown him, then we will drown him, then we will drown him in the tears of our love. And once we have drowned him, and once we have drowned him, and once we have drowned him in the tears of our love, then we will sing him, then we will sing him, then we will sing him a song much too long. Now, without further ado, I would like to turn the mic over to my dad and my hero.
The first story is about my father, who was in the Army in 1918. He fought in France. And I want to quote what he wrote about that. He said, you can't imagine he said, he wrote to my mother in Chicago, but you can't imagine the feelings of the boys who went through the hardships of our encounters in a war-swept country. The only way they could celebrate the victory was to pat each other on the back and thank Almighty God that they had survived the greatest ordeal man ever went through. That was his letter to my mother on Christmas Day, 1918. And second story is called Greenhorns in Manhattan. Our honeymoon consisted of one night at a hotel in St. Louis as we tried to consummate our vows without the benefit of Masters and Johnson or Henry Miller. Brand new as we were to the game, we had steeped in the hyperboles of the Romantic poets. Our expectations were no doubt unrealistic. Despite our earnest efforts, the planets proceeded placidly in their orbits. nor did Eileen's cervical cap or my latex shield, installed in the nick of time, do anything to heighten our prosaic pleasure. No time for regrets. Early the next morning, a cab whisked us away to a wind-blown station, where we boarded a train to Cambridge, Massachusetts, and a Naval Communications School on the Harvard campus. My father-in-law had shrewdly reserved a private compartment, and we did our best to make up for the night before. On weeknights, I was restricted to my dorm room. Half the time I was spent lying in bed, repeating to myself that this unholy torture would someday come to an end. I tried to win over Lieutenant Henry, my superior officer, by pointing out that I'd been married for only a few days. He told me to shape up. Some of the men have been separated from their wives for months, even years. You young whippersnappers don't know the first thing about suffering. Be grateful for what you've got and have a little heart. Somehow I couldn't see it his way. My urges were too great, and my bride was just a few blocks away. What more devastating persecution could the military mete out? One Tuesday night, I decided I'd had enough. Aware that there were occasional bed checks, I convinced myself that fate could not be cruel enough to arrange it on this particular occasion. And what could they do to me anyway? Court-martial me for such a minor offense? Unfortunately, my needs got the best of me. That was only the beginning. When I snuck back into my room early the next morning, I found a note pinned on my pillowcase. Report to Lieutenant Henry at once. He greeted me with a stern look. Ensign Schubert, where were you last night? In the arms of my beloved, I blurted. Don't be a smartass, Schubert. I can send you to the brig so fast you'll think that a hurricane hit you. His beady brown eyes bored into my conscience, no buts, young fella. You are an officer, and you better start behaving like one. A little courage is what you need. Listen carefully now. I'm going to explain to you what your punishment will be. From noon on Saturday until midnight on Sunday, you will report to the commander's office every hour on the hour. Do you have any questions? For your sake, I certainly hope not. Yes, sir. I mean, no, sir. Eileen and I spent the next 3 Sundays exploring the countryside and taking in the multitude of historic sites around Boston. One night, we rented a bright yellow tandem bicycle and headed off for parts unknown, stopping only when the fancy struck us. Before we knew it, we were on the road to Lexington and Concord, not realizing we'd be riding uphill and down dale, unfortunately, mostly uphill. Halfway through the 25-mile journey, I would gladly have traded our 2-headed beast for Paul Revere's horse. Paul's bottom could not have been any sorer than ours. Another weekend, we lounged along the Charles River, sharing a picnic lunch and stealing a kiss or two whenever nobody was looking. Although the Japanese had suffered enormous losses, they still hadn't surrendered. We listened to the radio every day, anxiously waiting for an announcement that the Japanese had given in. Meanwhile, the Navy did not know what to do. Its ranks were overflowing with ensigns, all of whom were redundant at this point. I was reassigned back to Great Lakes for further offers. With a week on our hands before I was scheduled to report, we decided to play the part of naive greenhorns and explore Manhattan. We took the train down from Boston and checked into the Commodore Hotel, carrying all our belongings in 2 suitcases. Strolling past the fully stocked shops on Fifth Avenue, we asked ourselves whether a war was really going on after all. The rich and famous didn't seem to be wanting. Servicemen of all stripes crowded the area. Many of these men had been serving for 4 years or longer and would soon be back home looking for a job. But I was a rank newcomer. I couldn't expect release to inactive duty for at least another year. I already was making plans for graduate school and was eager to start earning money so we could settle down and raise a family. During the next 3 days, we must have hit every point of interest the city had to offer. Staten Island Ferry, Statue of Liberty, Greenwich Village, and Metropolitan Museum of Art, a lot more places. One night we strolled towards Greenwich Village, soon finding ourselves in front of a neon sign flashing the words Cafe Society downtown. A homeless man was perched on a orange crate by the entrance. Eileen says, "Give him a buck." I tossed a dollar bill into his hat. Inside the club, we were directed to a bench along the mirrored wall. There was no cover charge, but there was a 2-drink minimum at $1 apiece. We saw the other guests dancing around the floor to the music of Glenn Miller and Tommy Dorsey. "How about it, honey?" I said to Eileen. "Sure," she said. "I'm not the best dancer in the world, but the feeling of having my wife in my arms swept away my inhibitions." I couldn't help but overhear a nearby conversation. A balding, middle-aged man was talking feverishly to a woman in her mid-20s who was apparently his secretary. His wife was out of town for the weekend. He was determined to make the most of it. His companion appeared reluctant at first, but I sensed her resistance crumbling with each sip of her drink. A short time later, they left arm in arm. As I looked around, I saw a striking young woman walking through the front door, flanked by a couple of equally attractive men. I poked Eileen on the side. "You know who that is?" "No idea." "That's Judy Garland." "You're putting me on. What would she be doing in a dump like this?" "It's her, all right." Judy was an old-time favorite of ours. Just a few months earlier, we saw her perform before an enthusiastic audience at Orchestra Hall in Chicago. They couldn't get enough of her, and we lost contact of the encores. "I'm going over to talk to her," I said. "Get some brains for once, will you? She wouldn't give the time of day to a nobody like you." I grabbed Eileen's hand and dragged her over to where our idol was sitting. Ignoring the goons, I walked straight up to her and said, "You're Judy Garland, right?" She didn't even turn her head. "My wife and I are here on our honeymoon," I continued brazenly, hardly aware of my words. "We saw you in Chicago last year. We have all your records. Could we bother you for an autograph?" This time she looked up and smiled. "Sure, kid. Get a pencil and paper." At that time, Judy was only 1 year older than we were. "Gee, no." Fortunately, one of her companions came to the rescue. "Have you seen The Wizard of Oz?" she asked, while signing the napkins 5 times. "It's playing at the Radio City Music Hall. If you'd like to make it 6, take this autograph to the box office they'll let you in for free. Good luck and have a great stay in New York. It was 2 in the morning. Oh, it was 2 a.m. in the morning before the taxi dropped us off in front of our hotel. Back in our room, Eileen collapsed into bed and fell asleep right away. Lying awake with my arms around her, I relived the events of the last 2 months. As I was drifting off, I saw a rainbow right there in my room, in our room. My last story is called A Poor Jewish Boy from the South Side of Chicago. I was born to Kate Sher Schubert and Ira Nathaniel Schubert on September 6, 1923. We lived on the 3rd floor of a 6-flat apartment building. We lived on the 3rd floor because the rent there was cheapest. It was $50 a month. My father owned a one-man retail dry cleaning store. My mother's stayed in the store waiting on trade while my dad was out on his truck picking up dirty clothes and delivering clean ones. My father earned no more than $2,000 a year. He drove a secondhand truck labeled with the letters Schubert's Cleaners, 5638 South Ashland Avenue, Republic 71452. I saw my dad on numerous Sunday mornings. I saw my dad lying underneath his truck repairing it. In 1927, when I was 4 years old, we moved to the Chatham neighborhood to be closer to my dad's store. Chatham had very few Jewish residents. I was the only Jew in my class at the Cornell Elementary School. I was the target of many anti-Semitic attacks. Some were physical, others were verbal. One day on the way home from Hebrew school, I was taunted by a gang of neighborhood boys who called me Kike, Sheeny, Jew boy, and Christ killer. I asked my dad for the name of the man whom I supposedly killed. I later discovered that it was the Romans, not the Jews, who killed Jesus Christ. The neighborhood kids played a game of virtual baseball by throwing a ball against the wall of an apartment building and measuring the distance it fell from the wall. One afternoon, Jimmy Murtaugh and I collided while running after the same ball, causing his eyeglasses to be broken. The next afternoon, Jimmy called me and suggested we meet in the hallway of his apartment building, then across the alley to the empty lot where we'd play baseball. When I arrived at Jimmy's building, 5 boys were waiting for me with menacing looks on their faces. Fortunately, a passerby alerted my mother just in time to save me. I had only one friend, Jerry Aronoff, but he lived more than a mile away. We rarely saw each other. One day, a boy named Bobby Quaintance called me a kike. I would not accept that insult, so chased him back to his apartment building. Wooden planks were lying on the back porch of his building. Bobby picked up one of those planks and slammed it down across my head, causing it to bleed. I managed to walk back home where my mother immediately called Dr. Rosenblum, our family doctor, who told my mother to get me to the Jackson Park Hospital right away. He would meet us there at the hospital. Dr. Rosenblum sewed up my wound and told us that the plank had a nail in it and that the nail came within an inch of my brain. After 5 years in Chatham, my father decided it was not safe for me to live there, so we moved back to South Shore, where there was a significant Jewish population. I quickly made friends with Chuck Schneider and Joe Weiss. We called ourselves the Three Musketeers. I was back among my own. Thomas Wolfe was wrong. You can go home again.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Rob,
Well, hello, Elliot. Happy birthday. This is David Ehrman. I don't know if you can see me, but at least you can hear me.
Who's this?
Happy birthday, Elliot. Lee Shapiro.
Hi, Lee.
Happy birthday, Elliot.
Hello, Elliot, Jeff Lieber, happy birthday, and hope to see you next year in person.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for coming.
Happy birthday from Queen.
Hello, Queen. What are you the Queen of? Queen of England?
Queen of everything.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Hi.
Fantastic being able to spend this birthday with you, and look forward to next year and every year until 100 and after that as well.
My doctor says I'll live at least 3 to 5 more years, so that'll be past 100.
Yeah, definitely past 100.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday, Elliot. Thank you for the wonderful stories. You're looking great. From your nurse, Nancy.
Yeah,
Happy birthday, Elliot.
And I believe you're a hairstylist.
Okay.
I believe I'm what?
And your hairstylist.
Happy birthday from Lillian.
Hi, Lillian. I don't see you here. I see you.
Ed, if you're really 79, you have another 21 years to go to reach 100.
Lillian, did you get my note about the Lillian Gish, your namesake? Maybe you didn't get it yet.
No, I didn't.
Happy birthday, Elliot, from Todd. May Reem until 120. Thanks for including me.
You're welcome.
Happy birthday, Elliot. You're my favorite Chicago Cub fan, and I've really appreciated our friendship in our writing club. You've really made it special through the years, and I look forward to being here when you're having your 98th as well. So happy birthday, Elliot. You're
That's
quite
nice.
a person. Quite a person.
Nice.
Happy birthday, Elliot. It's Rob from your writing group.
Yeah, I remember you.
I'm so happy to be here. And it's very nice to see your friends. And I just have to say that you're a real inspiration. And, I look forward to your stories every week, and I learn a lot about your life and a lot about the craft.
You know, some people say I'm amazing. It's not grace.
Just about your humility.
Happy birthday, Elliot. I just
Hi.
figured out how to get on, and I enjoy you too. I just admire you so much, and I enjoy all your little limericks and things you send on an almost daily basis. I think you're great, and happy birthday.
Thank you. The very best. I read the story about honeymoon. I know you always like to hear that.
Of which story did you read?
About my honeymoon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. From the very beginning, you have had such interesting stories of your life, and I just think you had a great marriage, and I'm happy for you in that respect.
Thank you.
Mm. And so nice of Ken to host this party for you.
Do I?
It's so nice of Ken to host the party for you.
Yes.
Everyone should be so lucky.
True.
Mhm.
Hey, Elliot, you'll have to explain. You said you grew up on the south side of Chicago, but you're a Cubs fan. That's the north side. How come you're not a Sox fan?
Yeah, that's a good
Good
question.
question. Good question.
And, before the Cubs played in Wrigley Field, they had another ballpark called the Cubs Park. Cubs Park was on the west side of Chicago, and that's where my father lived, on the west side. So he became a Cub fan, and naturally I became a Cub fan.
Hello. Nobody's in the same place, so I waved to all of you at the same time. Chuck, want to come say hi?
Is that your dog in the background?
Yes.
Is that a dog I saw?
Yes, it is. Rocco, come here, baby. That's Rocco.
David Herman.
Hey,
is
Rocco.
Happy birthday, late, Elliot. But oh, here's Chuck to say hi too.
Hi, happy
Hi.
birthday.
Thank you, Faye and Chuck. But, you know,
I
David,
know I missed a bunch, but it's good to see everybody here.
Better late than never.
David Herman's a stand-in for Moses. It looked just like Moses.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, now we see his mouth. Now we see the beard. Yeah, I saw the beard too.
Are you related or friends?
Oh,
friends.
we're longtime friends.
They almost related.
Almost.
Yeah, we've known each other so long.
Probably
It's,
since
almost like we're family.
1954, probably.
Ah,
Okay.
1954, the year I graduated from high school.
I don't know exactly when.
The year I
everybody-
was born.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I don't have any big memories of that time, but had a few of a little later, getting locked in the shed, and you know, lunches and breakfasts and dinners together, and picnics and things like that.
Picnics, mostly picnics. Picnics and Passover.
Picnics and Grant Park concerts, and
Right.
making Daisy.
And
Chain.
Passover.
I don't remember Passover together, but could have been.
But it's so fun for me to see Lee and Mark, who I haven't seen in 40, 50 years. It's great to see both of you. Carolyn, I've seen 5, 6 years ago. But Lee and Mark, amazing to see you two. And if it takes 90, go ahead, Lee.
I was going to say had digitized an old movie that one of the Shapiro picnics, and I'll try and get it in a format where I can download it to you guys because you're in there.
That would be fun. So if it has to take my dad being 97 years old for us to reconnect, that's a wonderful side effect. So great birthday, great connection.
Good seeing you.
I need to make a really, really, really funny joke to try to make me laugh. Because I'm already listening.
You get Nati to laugh. It's really funny.
The pressure's on, Dan.
A rabbi, a minister, and a priest go to a mortuary where a friend of theirs has passed away, and the priest throws in $100 bill into the casket, Stroban casket. So he throws in $100 bill, and the minister throws in a $200 bill, and the rabbi throws in a check. You're gonna laugh.
It's because he can't cash it, Nati. If you're dead, you can't cash a check.
Your dad what?
He's laughing, but you can't hear him. He's laughing to himself.
He takes the $100 bill and the $200 bill, and he writes a check for $500.
That half of the joke was completely weird. What? Are you laughing at me? You are.
Now you're laughing.
Nazi, how old are you?
7 years old. Fine, 8 years old.
How are you doing? How are you doing school?
By Zoom. What? By
And
Zoom.
how do you like that compared to when you used to go to school?
Completely boring. The most fun, the only thing that I like that is not in the Zoom meeting is drawing.
Drawing, yeah, we do a lot of drawing at home.
You know the song In the Mood? It's a song that never ends, keeps going.
Oh,
Meetings
okay.
always could end, but especially Zoom parties. And
Sounds very profound.
So, remember Lawrence Well? Lawrence Well?
Of course.
The reruns.
You watched them last night, right?
Yeah. The mother I saw him in person in 1943 on New Year's Eve at the University of Illinois. And at that time, he was not very well known, but 1943.
His shows are great. I love them.
Yeah.
Reruns.
Ken, also your shows are great. Completely great.
And you're a great happy birthday singer too.
I'm going to bid adieu. Wish again a happy birthday. Again, a great meeting, Nati. Great seeing Mark. And maybe one of these days I'll actually see my family in person.
Hopefully in the near future.
I know what you want to be. I know what you want to be exactly. A pig.
Okay.
Again.
Oh.
All right.
Find the nun pig.
Bye, Linda.
Bye, Dad.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye,
Dad.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
You can
Bye, Ricky.
Video will be released next month.
no, it's too late. Too late. now.
If you think
Linda, you're a trendsetter.
Definitely, she's gone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, Dad.
Bye, Dad.
Bye, Dad.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Birthday.
Thank you. Happy birthday to me.
Thanks, Mark, for hosting this. Great seeing you.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
I don't know how to do it. Wait, can we say bye?
Nati gets the last word.
What's the last word, Nani?
He has to unmute first.
All right.
The last word
You
is.
can sing happy birthday.
Did anyone hear happy birthday here? Elliot
happy
did,
birthday.
Ken did, whatever.
Sing happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. LeEliot.